Hi there, Simon from simonwood.com. Can you see me all right? Because I'm hiding behind 5 bottles of Cava. That makes me a Cava chameleon. Don't give up the day job, maybe. Anyway, I've got 5 Cavas, varying from, well, a Waitrose own label to a 2006 Gran Reserva. Can we see a progress in quality and complexity? I don't know, let's just dig in and find out. First one, it's Waitrose's own label, made in partnership with Castillo de Parellada, who make some decent still wines as well as sparklers, and don't think it's got a vintage on, 11.5%. I've got a feeling it's a traditional Spanish Cava grapes, which are Macbeo, Parellada and Xarel·lo. And it smells like just what I expect from a young, fresh, bouncy Cava. There's a bit of lemon, there's a bit of that earthiness. It smells like it's going to be on the dry side, refreshing, not too complex, but nice glug. There's a slightly toastiness, there's a slightly sherbet, aspirin-like fizziness. Easy drinking, yes, it's got this richness in the middle, but then this dry finish. Bit of mineral character coming through there. Perfectly decent, perfectly pleasant. Wouldn't mind a glass of that virtually any time of the day. Can I say the same about Codognu? I've got a few wines from them. This is their 2009 Méthode Traditionnelle. I've got some other wines from Codognu coming up. I've got one here and I've got another I'll show in another video. I don't think this one's got any Chardonnay in, so I think this is the one that has got the traditional Cava grapes. I'm not sure about the next one either, but hey, I'll see if I can flash those up, the details up on screen for you. Now this smells a bit more rounded and fruitier. It smells like it's got more toffee-like richness. Whereas the first one was on that just like clean, pure citrus fruit. Here it feels like there's a little more raspberries, maybe some strawberries in there. It smells a bit like it's going to be a bit richer. Is it going to be finer? Really nice, interesting contrast of styles there. First one's going for a bit of that fine-boned precision. This one is a bit more effusive and a bit richer in flavour, juicier, but better. No, I like them both. I think they're both pretty good. Maybe this is. This has got a bit more of that body and flesh, so if you are going to have it with food, maybe the first one is for something that's quite delicate. Here you can probably cope with some rather fatter, rounder flavour, so maybe you have shellfish with the first one. This is more richer, oilier fish, smoked salmon, that type of thing, maybe even chicken. But nothing to stop you, nothing there that makes you think, I need food with them. Let's see how we get on with it. Selección Raventos. Again, Méthode Traditionnelle, no vintage on here. I'm not sure whether there's a bit of Chardonnay in here, but I think that for the most part it's the traditional Cava grapes. I think it's when you get into slightly more expensive ones in the Codognu range that you see a bit more Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. Interesting, it smells like it's going to have some of the dryness of the first one with a touch of that toffee richness of the second. I don't notice those slightly redder fruit characters that I got in the Codognu vintage, so let's see what it's like. It is a richer wine and it feels like it's got more body and depth to it. I do miss some of the fine-boned character of the first one and that juicy fruit of the second one. It feels like it's trying to be a bit more serious, but in trying to be more serious, I slightly missed out on either the pleasure of the second or the elegance of the first. Not sure what I think I prefer the first two to this. Good but not great. Certainly wouldn't complain if someone poured me some of that. Last two, Gran Reservas. I'm not sure what the requirements are for Gran Reserva in Cava, but this one says on the back, aged on the lees in the very same bottle for a period over 30 months. So, and disgorged 6th of April 2011. And actually it says on the back 2005 vintage. The next one's 2006, so I should probably I'll do this one first. But it's the 2005 on the back label. It's written in a very, it's almost like someone's done it with their, I don't know if they still do John Bull printing set, but it feels like it's got a bit of that character about it. So maybe it's had over 30 months and then extra time in bottle. Yeah, and you smell immediately this richer, toastier, more Yes, it's got more of those yeasty, bready, slightly biscuity notes. It feels like there's going to be a richer, finer boned wine here, does that mean it's the first three would have got into this stage if they'd been kept for that little bit longer? Well, I'm not so sure. What I'm getting here is, I don't know whether there's an element of wood here. I certainly think there's some wood on the final one. But yeah, it feels like there's a more classy wine here. It's got more of the soil about it, more mineral character coming through, and the aging in the bottle has softened it, rounded it out, but not made it into a big fleshy monster. Yes, it's got this rich, dry earthiness, I don't think it's got any Chardonnay or Pinot Noir in here, because you're getting this rounded toffee richness without maybe some of the elegant fruitiness that you'd get if you had a little bit of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay in there. I'm not saying that they should do that, but I'm just saying that maybe if you were to have a little tinker. I'm not usually a fan of tinkering with traditional products, but if it does make them better, hey. But what's really good about it is the length. It feels like it's got this precision going through it. There's this rounded toffee-like richness, a bit of earthy. The lemon has gone into that. You know, if you do one of those lemon upside-down cakes or lemon drizzle cakes, and there's this soft lemon spongy character about it. But it's more this toffiness and these toasty, yeasty bits that are filling in gaps and making it a very interesting wine. It says on Brut Nature, so it's not propped up by any sugar, or it might have a little bit of residual sweetness in there, but not very much. It's certainly not trying to survive on that to fill in the gaps. What's filling in the gaps is quality of fruit, nice aging, and this yeasty, toasty action. Tasty. Let's see whether Recaredo is as tasty. This is another Brut Nature 2006. And grape varieties, yes, it's the traditional one, Sorello, Macabeo, Parellada. 48 months of aging. I think that means, I don't know if it's got a disgorging date on. Yeah, disgorged 23rd of May this year, so 6 months ago really. A year younger, but it smells a more confident, grown-up and more mature wine than the one before. There's this, again, there's the yeastiness, but there's a very winey, almost a Burgundian hazelnut richness here. Doesn't feel like the first one I had that reticence about whether it actually would have benefited from some slightly fruitier grapes to go into the blend. Here, I don't notice that. It feels like it's a complete wine. Almost reminds me of slightly good. Old-fashioned but good white Rioja with bubbles in. No surprise, as Macabeo is one of the main grapes there. And I noticed the wood aging here. It's again that Rioja Gran Reserva character, that thing where it's going into that slightly, the fruit has been dampened down and you're getting the edges of vanilla coming through, and it's a style of wine that some people will pick it up and think, is that okay? But it really is, it's that maturity from the barrel aging and then from the further aging in the bottle, and it's made for a pretty classy wine. In the world of Cava, that's probably going towards the Tondonia. I think there'll be some people who aren't quite sure about that, and they might pick it up and say, is this fully clean? But I think that there is this woodiness coming through, and then the yeastiness that's developed over the 4 years in bottle have accentuated that, and given this vague, ever so slight dank cellar nuttiness. If you've ever been in an old cellar that's got all these old barrels, there's this very particular smell, and I get that coming through here, and so it makes for a fascinating wine. Really interesting contrast with the one before. I wouldn't be surprised if both of these. I'm not a big fan of decanting sparkling wines, but sometimes I do it because sometimes they really need to come out their shell. But it's 10:30 in the morning here. I've got a feeling that come lunchtime, each of these will have got more to say than they're doing now. You'll notice I'm drinking them out of a proper wine glass rather than a champagne flute. I think wines like this in particular benefit from having that chance to open out and show their true colours. And I like their true colours. In fact, I thought it was a pretty decent range, and I mean the Codorniu in the middle was my least favourite, but even that I'd be happy to slug a glass or two, but maybe not at 10:30 in the morning. See you soon.